thanks for having me here today, and I want to avoid being too technical today. I think the most important thing to share is there's a lot of great options to give, and there's a lot of great advantages of giving, and you have help along the way. So Vicki's passing out something here that kind of outlines some planned giving. It's some of the approaches to that, and I can basically describe how those things work. But the first thing I want to say is, in decades of working with people, I've learned that one of the most joyful things that people do is give. They give to something that's greater than themselves. The yearning for significance is extremely important to people. They're very, very joyful. And so participating in giving and asking to give, you're really sharing blessings with others and allowing people to bless the organization, which is pretty powerful. So in many respects, we can get complex, but it's real simple. Write a check, make a gift, that's wonderful. Another area of giving today, if you want to give not as part of an estate plan, is using a qualified charitable distribution from an IRA. With the recent tax code change, the standard deduction is pretty high now. For a couple over the age of 65, it's in excess of $40,000. So if you make a gift, and if your gift and state and local taxes don't exceed $40,000, you don't get a charitable income tax deduction. But there's a way around that. You can make a gift if you have an IRA. You can make a gift directly to the charity. It's called a charitable, or it's called a qualified charitable distribution. So just from your IRA goes directly to the organization. You don't have to pay any income tax on that. There's no taxes that are paid. You don't get an income tax deduction, but you don't have to pay the tax on that distribution. So that's a very useful and powerful tool today to avoid taxes and still maximize the standard deduction. One of the most underserved areas of giving, or people don't realize, is planned giving through an estate plan. So do you have a desire to give after your death? Well, it's very attractive to a lot of people because many people think, well, goodness, I have to be certain I have enough resources to live on and provide for my family. And if there's an opportunity to give as part of or after your death, that's a powerful approach that can be very useful and very, very helpful, and it's very simple. So you can do this in a lot of ways. The easiest way, or I think one of the most powerful ways, is just simply name a beneficiary, make a beneficiary designation on an IRA. So perhaps you want to leave 90% to your children and 10% to the historical foundation. What I like about that, because it's an IRA, at your passing, this money goes directly to the organization, and no income taxes have been paid on that. So avoiding income taxes is really powerful and helpful, and that's a simple form that talk to your broker with an IRA, you make a beneficiary designation, and that's the way that can flow. Updating a will or a revocable trust to name the charity, the foundation here, then you can go ahead and handle that quite easily. Life insurance through beneficiary designation is also a useful tool. Many people have life insurance, it's in place, and if children are not needing the full amount of that, even a beneficiary designation for all or part of that is another simple way to go through this. There's gift annuities, there's charitable remainder trusts. This gets a little more complicated, but it's quite simple. Okay, a charitable remainder trust, you make a gift, you you set up the trust, you take income from this each year, and it's based on the same thing as a gift annuity. It's based on your age, and so you may receive between 5% or as high as 12% a year, and then once you pass away, then the remainder goes to the Historical Society. So that's a way of making a gift later, but still receiving a benefit and an income stream on that today. That's very attractive to a lot of people. The key to all of this is that it can be complicated, and everybody's situation is different. However, the board, you have a team of people here who can help you figure that out. You know, another way to give is if you have an investment account, a brokerage account, simply transfer appreciated stock or appreciated mutual funds directly to the foundation. The beauty of that, the foundation sells it, it's a 501c3, there's no capital gains tax. So I kind of like that. Instead of paying the government, you pay the causes, charities you care deeply about, you benefit the Historical Society. So that's a way of maximizing your gifts. So there's a lot of great options out there that are available. It really depends upon your circumstances. There's a team here who can help you sort through that. So, have I confused everybody?
No.
Very clear, thank you.
Good, and so please ask me questions. Rod?
Here's my question. Let's say that there's a required, and I want to make sure I understand how this works. If I have, let's say I have a required minimum distribution out of an IRA of $120,000, but I want to give, let's say I don't need that money, I don't have high in the hog taste, whatever, so I'd have to either reinvest that or whatever, but I want to give $25,000 to the Historical Society. Are you saying that I can meet my RMD, that percentage I have to take out, I can take part of that and then give it directly from the IRA to the Historical Society?
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt me meeting the RMD requirement? I'm not taxed on that distribution, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm assuming everybody is familiar with the required minimum distribution. So you have an IRA, you're over the age of 73, the IRS says you have to take a certain percentage of this out every year, whether you need it or not. And there's a fair amount of people that don't need the full distribution, but they're forced to take it, they're forced to pay taxes on it, and then they either stick it in their checking account or they reinvest it. And as Rod pointed out, if the distribution is $125,000, by making a QCD, a qualified charitable distribution, directly to the Historical Society, meets that RMD. And you don't have to pay tax on it.
That seems to be a great, whether it's $5,000 or $50,000,
Yeah.
you're meeting your requirement,
You bet.
you're not paying taxes on it, you gotta take it out anyway, so you're either gonna pay taxes on it and lose a chunk of it to the feds,
Yeah.
or you give it to a charitable institution.
You bet.
Yeah.
Tax dollars here, charitable dollars here. What makes more sense?
Charitable.
Wait, didn't you work with the IRS?
I